Batman The Long Halloween, Part 1 and 2. Part 1 I had to rent from a video store because the library didn't have Part 1 yet, but Part 2 I have here. But this is the two-part animated movie based off of Jeph Loeb and Tim Sale's The Long Halloween, which is a 13-issue story, which I've read. I think I've owned it too. It's really fantastic. The original graphic novel has amazing art. It's a really twisty, dark noir story, detective story that's sort of a sequel to Batman Year One. It takes place it's not like a direct sequel. I mean, in the sense that it would take place when Batman is younger. So after the events of Year One, but still sort of like around that time period of Batman's crime-fighting career. So when I found out, I sort of watch every DC animated movie, so there's no way I wasn't going to watch this one. But Batman The Long Halloween Part 1, I felt was pretty underwhelming, to be honest. First off, I rented the first and second part. I watched the first and second part through Blu-ray. So really great animation. There's nothing really wrong with the movies. Like technical wise, the voice acting is pretty good. The animation's fine. It has the same sort of animation style as Superman Man of Tomorrow. The fight scenes are pretty great. But just the writing itself is just kind of like meh for the most part. For Part 1 anyway. Part 1 is really stiff and cold and emotionless. It's mostly focused on the Falcone crime family. So they do have the gangster element there, but there's only like 2 action sequences in the entire movie. There's this great fight with the triads in a alleyway, and a finale with Joker. But yeah, the movie just seems kind of stiff, and I don't know why. It just felt kind of cold and emotionless. There wasn't really a core theme or anything. There was no thorough line, and they changed a lot of stuff. I noticed that when they did Batman Hush, based off the Jeph Loeb story as well, it's another, Jeph Loeb likes to do stories that are like large and sort of ambitious and encompassing all of the rogues gallery. So they changed everything about Batman Hush, and they did sort of the same thing with this. And a lot of the reviewers were saying like, oh, it keeps the heart, but I didn't really like it, the changes for one. The only thing I really did enjoy about this movie was Catwoman. They changed her design from the graphic novel to a more sleeker, modern approach, like similar to Batman, the animated series. And Naya Rivera does a really great job with the voice acting. It's her final film role, but yeah, Catwoman as a character really stood out too, because she's really cool in this movie. And Batman's kind of lame. He doesn't do much. And, obviously I watched them together, so I watched Batman The Long Halloween Part 2. It's a bit of an improvement. I mean, you get more emotional stakes with the transformation from Harvey Dent turning into Two-Face. And, they do have some more action going on, especially at the beginning, more stakes. And then we get the rehash of Batman losing his parents again. It feels kind of episodic and spotty, like one moment he'll be fighting Scarecrow, and one moment he's fighting a different character. And the ending was really on the nose. I hated the ending. The ending was just so... They changed it from the original graphic novel as well. I guess it's really hard to adapt. But that's the thing, though. The movie, the filmmakers, Chris Palmer and all the people involved, they had 2 movies to do the very ambitious story. I mean, obviously the Batman The Long Halloween is 13 issues long, so obviously you need a lot of time. But 2 full movies, each 85 minutes long. That's a full, what is that, almost 3 hours. You should be able to tell the story without changing too much, but they decided to make it their own, and I just felt like it didn't work because they changed a lot of stuff here and there. And being a huge Batman fan, being a huge DC animated movies fan, I felt these 2 movies were definitely a letdown. I would give the first movie like a 6 out of 10, the second one maybe a 6.5, but there's just a lot of things I didn't enjoy. I didn't enjoy the Mad Hatter in this. Just on a technical level, everything's fine, but just the writing, the changes, I didn't like any of it. And these 2 will definitely not sit on my movie shelf with Batman The Dark Knight Returns. They definitely dropped the ball on this one. They probably should have just done a different story, because it just didn't work out for me. So I give Batman The Long Halloween Part 1 a 6, and the second part a 6.5.